But yeah, the number one thing again, you're not my enemy, and there's an enemy that's working against us, that we really have to redirect that, finger pointing to, like, get the F on, so that's my biggest one, knowing that we're on the same team.
To a point where it's like, I don't believe that you would do that single thing again.
Right.
With conflict resolution, we got to try to get to the place where when we forgive, it's like,
you forgot.
I gotta, one of the things I used to tell my homie, part of forgiving is making yourself vulnerable to be hurt again.
I'm not your enemy, you're not my enemy, because we're not.
Yeah.
Deep in our core, I'm for you.
Sure.
And I know you're for me.
Yeah.
So in a split of a moment, we could have either had a disagreement. Like I said, something could have happened that just altered our thinking, or we wasn't thinking, or just a split moment. And you always say too, I'm not going to let the situation define who you are.
Right.
I'm not going to let your mistake define who you are. And that's really a Christian behavior to have.
Taking the break is very helpful. And like I said, it was contradicting because it's like, for me, sometimes if we're in the heat of the moment, I'm trying to finish that conversation, and you be like, I just need 5 minutes. No, nigga, no.
No, we harping on
this. We harping on
we
this.
We ain't talking about this.
What's going on, y'all? This is Sonny.
And I'm Tee.
And this is Not Wrong, Norris is Right.
For better or worse, we bound to the life. Not wrong, nor is it right. Not wrong, nor is it right. We trying to live right. We partners for life. Not wrong, nor is it right. Not wrong, nor is it right. Love conquers.
Hi guys. I feel like it's been a long time since we've been here.
Yeah.
Life gets hectic with our babies and stuff, but we've been locked in.
We haven't been beefing. We haven't. No. We've been good. We
know what
still
y'all
at
be
it.
Thinking.
Oh, they ain't posting. They beefing.
Just like I posted on this story.
Oh, that's good, because today we are talking about conflict resolution, and although we might not have been beefing, we do know a thing or two about some conflict.
Oh yeah.
Listen, marriage is good.
Yeah.
However, it's very important to take note of those vows that you take when you are getting married: the good, the bad, the ugly, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
To death do us part. Because listen, marriage be marriaging.
Yeah, if that's a thing.
Marriaging.
It does. It really does.
And you know what? A lot of people, it's like they use the analogy, even before you get married, y'all argue like y'all married or something like, and that's crazy,
right?
But I think that just goes to show, or goes to the notion that in marriage, conflict exists.
It's inevitable.
Yeah,
it's inevitable in all areas of your life.
Sure,
you're eventually going to face conflict with something or somebody.
Friendships,
the
work,
whole 9 yard, family,
business, everything. You're gonna have some type of conflict.
Yeah, and I think the difference with having conflict in marriage, and even just with your spouse or your significant other, it's like you're with them all the time.
Yeah.
And so they face the most heat, the most like, you acting different.
Absolutely.
It's real, but it could get really ugly. And we're going to dive into it though.
Imagine that, when in college, it's like, you could be friends with somebody, but the moment that person become your roommate, man, you got to see that person every single day, talk to that person every single, you're like, I don't even like this nigga now. They keep leaving everything.
When we wasn't living together.
We could be best friends as long as we ain't living together.
It's so weird.
That ain't the case with marriage.
It's so weird. Yeah, it ain't I'm gone.
Yeah.
Look, you on your own.
Well, at least not in our marriage.
Not in ours.
Yeah.
So yeah, how do we deal with it? I guess that's the first question.
How do we deal
with it?
So I think for me, I naturally try to avoid conflict if it isn't necessarily warranted, right? When it's like we harping on this.
Oh, we harping on it.
No, but so for me, it's like I naturally live out the scripture. I'm just paraphrasing the scripture that talks about not waking up. It's like, don't let the sun set.
Yeah, don't let the sun go down on your wrath.
Exactly. So I try to, I don't know, it's just, it ain't even an intentional thing. It's just by the time I wake up from, if we beefing, if it wasn't something that was like, if it was something that I don't feel like it was warranted that we got to harp on, then I'll just be like, hey babe, what's for breakfast? You know what I mean? And we just kind of go from there. With you, it's like,
but you're going to sleep mad though.
Yeah, it's
You're
weird.
letting the sun set on your wrath, unfortunately.
But,
because it's like God may not grant you the opportunity to get up. So it's like the last thing you did was
she just went
mad.
to that. No, so my thing is,
you said the scripture.
No, right, but I mean it in the sense where, I guess I had it backwards, but I mean it in the sense where when I wake up.
Okay.
Because
it's a new day.
I can't sleep mad. I can't be sleep mad.
So like, you're not technically going to sleep mad, right, but you're going to sleep with the issue unresolved.
I feel you. Okay, but it depends on how big that situation was, right? Mm-hmm. Like because here's the thing. It's one thing for me if I go to sleep mad and you don't know what I'm mad about, then okay, I feel like when I wake up in the morning we should have a conversation. Like what we just recently went through. Look at that face. But if we both went to sleep and it was understood what man you went to sleep mad about, if it was petty, then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just wake up.
Just sleep on it.
I'm gonna sleep on it. I'm gonna wake up and we be good. You don't be feeling that in the moment though, because
depending on what the severity of it is.
Sure.
I mean,
sure.
So maybe give like your top 3 things that you feel as though we've learned and how to deal with conflict. Maybe give your top 3 and then elaborate.
So I feel like what I've learned.
So your first one was
like
going to sleep.
Man, yeah, like so when I go to sleep. It's like when I wake up the next day, it's like, and I don't know if it's because like for especially for myself, sometimes before I go to sleep, and it's kind of going off, but before I go to sleep, I just always think about how tomorrow isn't granted. So it's like I really be wrestling with that in my, like, before I go to sleep, like how tomorrow isn't granted. So it's like, imagine waking up being mad about something that happened yesterday when it wasn't even promised that I'm gonna wake up to you the next morning. So I don't know if that, like, all that stuff plays a role.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like by the time I wake up the next morning, I'm just like, I'm grateful. Thank you, Lord. I say my prayer. Thank you, God, for another day. So for me to go back and revisit something that wasn't necessarily even that big of a deal, it's like, why even build that? Why even talk about? And it's not sweeping it under the rug, because if it's something so small, then it's like, why even go back and revisit those feelings when it was just like, bro, it wasn't even warranted. But so that's one thing. So I learned that, me personally, if I wake up the next day, I'm like, I'm not trying to go revisit something that isn't necessarily worth it. And now, if you feel like it's worth it, then obviously we gotta have that conversation.
Right.
2, man, I think you start to realize how to communicate what you're feeling. And for me, I was always lack of emotions. Go back to episode, what's that, 3 or 4, whatever it was. But go back to the episode of having lack of emotions, and now being in touch with my emotions, I can now communicate what made me feel that way, and hopes that you can hear how I'm feeling, and that can be a conflict resolver by you just saying, I hear what you're saying, I feel what you're saying, and then you can explain how you felt about it or whatever. The third thing that I learned about,
maybe 3 things that we've learned about how to like deal with conflict in our marriage.
Right. The third thing is try not to attack you in that moment. Like, if it's something that if it was something that either that you made me feel, when I come to you, the first thing that you would do is be on a defensive mode. If I attack you in the way that you made me feel. Does that make sense? I
think you're trying to say, if it was something that like hurt me and I'm explaining to you, like, you did this to me, you try not to be super defensive, but really understand.
No. So I feel like if you did something that hurt me,
okay,
if I come to you and be like, you this and this, start saying your character is this, start saying da. First thing that you're gonna do is try to defend yourself as to, nah, this is not who I am. Don't put this. So for me, instead of rather attacking you, I could just be like, babe, this made me feel like this. Like, this made me feel small in a moment, or this hurt my feelings, or this made me feel insecure, or this, I didn't like the way you said that, I didn't like the way you went about this. Rather than the attack is, don't talk to me like that, because you know,
going back and forth, like fire with fire.
Like, exactly. So if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
And sorry guys, we don't, like I said, we probably gonna start writing down our answers, because you be giving me them juicy questions, and I'm just like, all right, let me try to come off my emotions.
And I'm always like, I'm not ready.
But look, we get a lot of response. It's like they love the genuineness of our relationship,
Yeah.
of our conversations and things like that. And I think a part of that is because
it's like not scripted.
It's not scripted. It's not rehearsed.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it's something that we're trying to get into biblical or something,
right?
We don't want the pastors out there to be chopping us up.
We ain't trying to be rebuked now.
We just try to live out
wrong verse.
Yeah. Not wrong nor is it right, homie. That's what I tell that pastor. Not wrong nor is it right, homie.
Those were good though.
But yeah, those my 3.
Yeah. I didn't even have my 3 ready. I'm just listening, but definitely agreeing. It's a journey, I feel like, to learning conflict resolution and marriage, because it started out rocky, and I feel like conflict resolution and having disagreements in marriage is almost like one of those things that can make you or break you.
Yeah, I agree.
I really do feel that way, like real bad. And because it's almost like a situation arises and you really are faced with like this person that you've never seen before.
Sure.
Or they could do something just out of character, and it's like,
yeah,
excuse me?
Yeah.
Like, this is who I married. And just figuring out ways how to navigate through it, either get to figure out this new person or whatever that looks like. So, I mean, yeah, to me, I feel like it could be a make or break, depending on the severity of the situation, and really just figuring out how to work through it. So I feel like my top 3 things that I've learned in our marriage in regards to handling conflict, disagreements. Number 1 is knowing that you aren't my opposition, but you're my teammate. Keeping that in the back of my mind, that there's an enemy fighting against us.
And you love hitting
and
that,
you
Sonny, I'm not your enemy. Like, you love...
I live by that.
Absolutely.
I'm like, I need you to remember, I'm not your enemy, you're not my enemy, because we're not.
Yeah.
Deep in our core, you know I'm for you.
Sure.
And I know you're for me.
Yeah.
So in a split of a moment, we could have either had a disagreement. Like I said, something could have happened that just altered our thinking, or we wasn't thinking, or just a split moment. And you always say too, I'm not going to let the situation define who you are.
Right.
I'm not going to let your mistake define who you are. And that's really a Christian behavior to have.
Sure.
It's like, God looks at us and it's like, just because you murdered somebody 5 minutes ago, I'm still going to look at you as my child, and you're forgiven. Obviously, if you ask for forgiveness, and it's all said and done, it's like, go back to me loving you, you loving me.
Wow.
So it's like, for me, it's always like, okay, T, he's not your enemy. We're on the same team. You know, we just having a moment. I love the little basketball analogies because I'm getting into my basketball bag.
Hey,
but,
talk that basketball. Hey, talk that basketball.
I'm not gonna do it because I don't want to mess up.
You talking about when they do like a touchdown? And
no.
Oh, I just making sure you shot. Just making sure you shot.
But yeah, the number one thing again, you know, you're not my enemy, and there's an enemy that's working against us. That
absolutely.
we really have to redirect. That, you know, finger pointing to, like, get the F on. Like, you know, so that's my biggest one, knowing that we're on the same team, like, and we have to set the play to figure out, like, okay, what we doing, what's going on, like 2 coaches coming together, like, all right, let's figure out this play, and then we get back out there.
How do we win?
Number 2 biggest thing, obviously for me, I feel like it's communication. That's very broad, but knowing how to, and I don't even know if that should be one because it's very broad, but knowing how to talk through it.
Sure.
And so even to elaborate amongst that, talking through it in a sense where, you know, I'm listening to listen, like I'm hearing you to listen, to let it soak in. I am not quick to speak. So I let you get all your marbles off, let you get all your stuff out. And I'm like, okay, take a minute, soak it in, and then I'll verbalize it back to you. Like, okay, this is what you said. This is how it made you feel.
Nice.
And so it's really hard, though, when you have conflict for me to listen and not build the ammunition up in my head.
Wow.
And be like, oh, yeah, I got to respond to this. I got to respond to when you said that. Let me save it. And because it's like in the moment of you telling me like how something made you feel, I'm already building up in my head like, oh, I gotta respond to this. I gotta defend myself when he said that. I gotta do that. I gotta do that. To the point where I'm not even listening no more. It's like going in and out.
Sure.
Like soon as you give your points of how I made you feel, it's like, boop, I gotta respond to this, and that. And it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I should listen to hear to really feel like how it made you feel. And so listening to hear, verbalizing it back to you about how it made you feel, but also understanding that, I mean, you're a person, like you're a human too. And I know with you, it's like really hard to express yourself. And we still deal with that. And we just dealt with that the other day. We're like, you don't want to talk. And I'm just like, you have to talk to me. Like, I have to beat my husband down like a dead horse sometimes just to figure out, like, what are we beefing for?
No, what we
doing?
That's my point. No, sometimes I'm already over it.
And that's not fair.
But because
that's not
you
fair.
because you sometimes you want to go back to like, what are we beefing? What are we beefing for?
The thing is, so you're like, okay, so he has the conflict in his head. He has the issue in his head about what I did wrong, what happened, right? He expresses it in shutting up. I'm knowing, I'm your wife. Oh, something's wrong. He's off. It's either one or two things. I'm going to ask, hey, what's up? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm good. Mm-hmm. Or now, I could tell something is wrong. I don't know what I did.
Yeah.
But I'm going to wait for you to tell me what it is.
Yeah.
That never happens though. So I'll be waiting all night and then he'll go to sleep and then it's like, oh, it's a new day. Da-da-da. And I'm walking around like, no.
Yeah.
What's up? Like, it's not fair for me.
Right.
So I'm just like, I need you to communicate. Like, what happened? Because my thing is, it's important because if it comes up again, there you go, going into your corner. But it's like, I don't know what I did. I don't know what happened.
I feel you. And I think sometimes it is a little bit of pride because if it's something small, it's like, bro, why you acting like a sucker nigga? Like, bro, is it like what's up with you?
And that's the enemy telling you, like, no, you don't even gotta tell her, like, you gotta. I'm just chill
like,
out,
bro,
like,
let me get, like, bro, I was on some sucker stuff last night, man. That was crazy. Okay. I'm moving forward, but I feel you. It is unfair because I like the communication matters.
I'm just a big communicator at heart,
and you be wanting to like hash it out, like. No, we harping
on this tonight. So, like,
yeah, but
because I really be big on just wanting to just smooth. Like, I want to just smooth, transparent.
But for me personally, I just don't feel like every single disagreement warrants a sit down talk it out. Sometimes just like, babe, man, forget that last night. I love you. Give me a kiss. Let's move on from it. Especially if it's small, it's just like, I mean, our criminal system. It's like the crime gotta fit the punishment. You know, well, for a black man in America, you know, the crime don't fit the punishment. But we ain't gonna get into that bag. But but it's like to me, everything doesn't warrant
a whole sit down.
All right, we need to sit down. Let's have some wine.
And I agree. And I feel like there have been times where we've both had our moments where even if it was like an insecurity or something that came up or just a triggering moment, and it's like, you know, I'm just in my feels right now. And
I feel like we both, especially we had a hectic last year, but I feel like we both have become comfortable with saying, babe, even like you said, with an insecurity or trigger, I'm just having a triggering moment right now.
Yeah. And it's so hard not to like take it out on you in that moment.
Right.
Because we could be so good and you could literally do something like, I don't know, pick up your phone and sit in a corner quiet for 2 minutes, maybe texting somebody or whatever. And my mind goes to, oh, yeah, remember that incident?
Absolutely.
And it's like, my whole mood is off. And you like, dang, what did I do? And so I want to say too, my third one, with conflict resolution, for me, it's like, I have a list, but we're going to chop it down to 3. But my third one, which ties into it, is almost like if it's heated, like we're at our peak, we yelling or voices are getting high, I'm not hearing you, you're not hearing me, I need 5 minutes.
Sure.
I need a minute.
I hate that.
He hates it, but I feel like
because
you can respect it.
I respect it.
You have to respect it. It's like, I need 5 minutes.
It's crazy because it's contradicting.
And it may not, I know, and it may not be 5 minutes. Sometimes it may be the whole night, but I need 5 minutes. Like, because I'm not hearing you. You're not hearing me at this point. I'm about to just go take a walk, go get in the shower, go to Target, go get a coffee, and then maybe we can come back and talk about it.
That's a good point. Taking a break sometimes, if things aren't getting resolved, taking a break is very helpful. And like I said, it was contradicting because it's like, for me, sometimes if we're in the heat of the moment, I'm trying to finish that conversation, and you be like, I just need 5 minutes. No, nigga, no.
No, we harping on this.
We harping on
we
this
need to talk about this.
Yeah, but sometimes, like you said, taking a break, because like you said earlier, it's when you're listening to somebody just to fire back at them, I mean, it's really no resolve with that.
It's no point in even having a conversation.
It's really no resolve with that. I will say this. The biggest thing, I would think that the biggest thing in conflict resolution has to end with forgiving. Forgiving has to be the biggest thing, because, and the hardest part is to forgive like a human and to forgive like Christ. Let me break that down. I feel like as humans, we forgive, but we still keep track of what
records
naturally what hurt us, right? We got scars, we have triggers, we have all these things that remind us of what our partner did to to hurt us. Christ, the forgiving like Christ is what happened, what just happened? I don't even know what happened. You know what I mean? And that's hard. That's a hard standard. Obviously, Christ is the Lord, but trying to have that Christ-like forgiveness in your relationship is going to be what ultimately
help
you and be the conflict resolved, because it's nothing worse than, like, even some of them conflicts could last weeks, man. We talking about some of them conflicts could last months.
It could just
and
linger.
It's nothing worse than
and it's nothing resolved.
Getting to a great season. Something, because here's the thing about a trigger. Sometimes a trigger could just be a false reality. Right? You if I put my phone down this way and that don't trigger you, like, oh, what you trying to cover up from your notifications coming up, and really I just accidentally just put my phone down like that, really nothing is going on, but your mind just told you 1,000 things, of course, because of a trigger. And that's because we haven't necessarily forgiven that person or forgave that person to a point where it's like, I don't believe that you would do that single thing again. With conflict resolution, we got to try to get to the place where when we forgive, it's like,
you forgot it.
I gotta, one of the things I used to tell my homie, part of forgiving is making yourself vulnerable to be hurt again. That's crazy. Like, that's what forgiving is. I have to forgive you to a point where I'm vulnerable again. Like, it's not just, I mean, I forgive you, let's move on. I'm just, for this moment,
I still have this wall
up. I'm just, for the moment, I'm okay.
I forgive you this much.
Right. I forgive you this much.
But to the point where my walls are down.
To a point where I'm I'm dangerously in love, because I'm allowing myself to be hurt by the same exact thing again. And that's that Christ-like forgiving. That's that Christ-like love. Love conquers all.
And that's what marriage is too. I mean, you forgive, you forgive, you forgive.
Sure.
And I feel like I've recently tapped into an era where we fight, and then, I mean, not fight, but, you know, sometimes it do go down in a DM, but we have our moment, and 10 minutes later, I'm like, you want some ice cream?
Yeah.
Or what's up? And he still be kind of in his little pouty mouth corner, and I'll be like, let's watch a movie.
That go both ways.
All right, let's watch a movie. And it's so funny because he be trying to keep a serious face so bad, and I know him.
Yeah.
He be trying to keep a serious face so bad, and he gets so upset with himself that he can't stay mad at me, y'all.
Most of our conflicts,
with me, and it sucks.
Most of our conflicts don't last long at all.
It don't last.
The moment I look her in her eyes, it just be like, bruh.
It's an instant, like, why do I love you so much moment. Why, he's so weak in the knees for me.
Wow.
He is, and I'm weak in the knees for him too.
I was about to say, if you ain't weak right now, and I can make you weak in the knees right now. You understand
Episode
me?
6, it looks like we may have to talk about intimacy.
Hey, you understand me? I'm feeling real intimate right now.
We'll get into that bag next episode.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Listen, guys, we love y'all so much. We appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all continue to like, subscribe,
and follow.
This is Not Wrong, Norris the Right.
Yes.
Instagram, Wrong No Right. YouTube, Wrong No Right. Listen, man, whatever y'all want us to talk about, continue continue to comment below. Let us know what y'all want to talk about.
DM.
Yeah, we hope that y'all enjoyed this.
Yes.
We see y'all next time. I'm
Have
Sonny.
a good one. I'm Tee.
This is Not Wrong, Nor Is It Right. See y'all.
For better or worse, we bow to this life, not